Hi, everybody. Well, currently we have Hurricane Beryl heading into Texas after leaving Cancun. It is currently a tropical storm, but it is about to, when it hit landfall, apparently will re-strengthen and become a hurricane once again. But it's affected one cruise ship in particular right now, a Royal Caribbean ship. And my question to you is, which do you think is worse? The people supposed to leave today on the cruise, or the people supposed to be returning today on the cruise? So at first glance, a lot of people will automatically say, for instance, I think the cruise is currently on a 4-day cruise. Well, they're not heading back to the port today. They're supposed to come back today, disembark passengers, and embark the new passengers for a 5-day cruise up into Mexico. Well, unfortunately, because of the hurricane situation, the tropical storm, they're actually sailing in the opposite direction of Texas right now, just to keep its distance, and will not get back to port until tomorrow. Now, when you think about it, well, I got a 4-day cruise, and now I'm a 5-day cruise at no extra cost. Except there might be extra costs, right? There might be costs of your missed flights now. If you are flying home, then you probably don't have your flights. And if you don't have trip interruption insurance of any kind or your airline insurance cancellation, you're on the hook for new plane tickets. Now, Royal Caribbean in this case has said for the Mariner of the Seas, that's the cruise ship that's stuck out at sea today, said that they will contact the people about compensation. Not sure what that's going to be. Quite often they'll offer $100 or $200 for airlines per cabin, depending on how much of a delay there is, etc. Also, if you booked your airline tickets through the cruise line, usually that's at no cost to you now. Usually that will now be reevaluated and redone by the cruise line and rebooked for you. Trouble is, it all depends on available flights. And we just had a hurricane going through. We have a big storm. How many flights were canceled because of this storm? And then those flights have to get rebooked as well, which means sometimes when this happens, you're actually delayed 3-4 days before able to fly back. And then you're stuck there for 3 or 4 days, and you've got to pay for a hotel for that whole amount of time. That can be a bit of an expense, a bit of a pain, unless you, like I said, if you have that trip interruption insurance and that helps cover you. However, now put yourself in the shoes of the people who were supposed to get on the cruise ship today. You flew in yesterday like you're supposed to. If you were lucky and were able to get a flight to get into Houston and then get over to Galveston, only to find out the ship's not returning and you won't get on till tomorrow. Well, that hotel you stayed at last night might not have any availability today. And now you're scrambling to find a hotel room. Yes, you'll get some compensation out there. You'll get maybe 20% back off your cruise. You might get, you will get your shore excursions unless you book through a third party. If you book through the cruise line, you'll get your shore excursion money back and part of your drink fare money, things like that you would get back. But you're losing part of your vacation. You're now stuck with extra hotel bills that the cruise line is probably not going to cover. You're staying an extra day, and they'll reach out and see what kind of compensation that they're going to offer these folks. It really becomes a balloon effect, right? And a domino effect when a cruise ship cannot make it back to port on time. It's so inconvenient, and you can't predict it, right? You cannot predict that this is going to happen. So you're hoping it doesn't, but if it does and the timing is exactly wrong and you have to head to the port and it closes for that day, you're stuck. There's nothing you can do. You have a helpless feeling. Now imagine for the people who are supposed to get off the ship today, they're supposed to be at work tomorrow, or they're supposed to pick up their pets tomorrow, etc., right? There are so many things that can happen. And it's truly unfortunate when this happens. But of course, the cruise ship's doing the right thing. The cruise line is absolutely staying safe. The cruise line is not endangering passengers. The cruise line is making a right decision. I have no mistake about it. But that people who, especially on these shorter cruises, right? The 4-day cruises, the 5-day cruises, the 3-day cruises, people tend to not grab that insurance because they're just looking for a cheap, quick getaway. And when they don't grab the insurance, this stuff can happen. And I'm that way when I book my flights. Like, I have travel insurance, so don't get me wrong, I always have travel insurance to cover my entire trip. But when I'm booking my airline tickets, they always ask me, do I want to buy that extra insurance for the airlines? And I am always no, because of my other insurance. But the one time I would forget to have insurance for any reason, I would still automatically say no on the airline just as a habit. And that's not probably good. I should always be thinking that through, making sure that I'm covered. But I always have my cruise insurance, I always have my health insurance, my evacuation insurance, always, 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 always. So I just feel really sorry for those people on the Mariner of the Seas. And I can only imagine you wake up in the morning and you find out, oh, the ship's not returning today, we can't get on our holiday tomorrow. Oh, by the way, our hotel is booked, and every other hotel in the city is booked too. Now what do you do? Do you go heading to the cruise terminal and sleep there? Do you head to the airport because it's open 24 hours? What do you do in this situation? It really can become a complete mess, especially with a hurricane bearing down on you at the same time. It's, yeah, so many things that happen, so many problems, but the one thing that can protect you from any of this, well, a couple things. One, if you booked everything through the cruise line, you booked your hotel through the cruise line, you booked your airlines through the cruise line, and you have the insurance through the cruise line all at once, you're pretty covered for this kind of stuff. If you're doing things on your own, other than the medical insurance, you need trip interruption insurance and trip cancellation insurance. For instance, if you didn't want to do a 5-day and now down to a 4-day, if you didn't want to do that, you could put in to get your money back. Those are the only ones that can really protect you. And I can only imagine how many people are on the phone trying to get through in hurricane weather to the airlines to rebook their flights so they can fly home tomorrow instead of today. Just an absolute mess.